Oh. Y'all not tired? I think I'm tired. I think as Aaliyah fans, we are like always on the defensive. Like we always just gotta fight for our life online. Luckily I'm past that point in my social media life. Like I'm not gonna be arguing with people. And a lot of times I do find myself like typing and I say, you know what? Delete, mute that person. I have so many people that I've never followed muted because they come down my timeline. People retweet them, I respond to them. They come down my timeline and they are saying something ignorant. It's just like every time it's like an anniversary of her death or her birthday comes up, somebody has to say something ignorant. And it's just like, do y'all just want to get dragged? Like, you know, a lot of people, they like just the engagement. That's what a lot of blogs do. That's what like the Shade Room does. The Shade Room just puts up stuff that they know is going to get engagement because the Shade Room is real transphobic, homophobic, femophobic, like whatever kind of phobic you can put up there. It's a lot of hate. It's just like hate mail. That's why I stopped following the Shade Room like years ago. I was like, it's just toxic. But, you know, just speaking, Aaliyah's birthday just passed. Happy birthday. She would have been 43 this year. Her birthday just passed, and this guy came down my timeline on Twitter, and he's like, why nobody talk about Aaliyah having a ghostwriter? I'm just like, do you just want something to say? Like, do you know what a ghostwriter is? Ghostwriters and songwriters are not the same things. For y'all that don't understand, ghostwriters are people that write songs but do not get credit for the song. Or if they get credit, it's not under their name. So technically they don't get credit for the song. Like Taylor Swift was a ghostwriter for This Is What You Came For, whatever, the song with Rihanna and David Guetta that Rihanna made a hit. Because her name wasn't listed as a writer, it was some other fake name. And I was just like, this is an idiot. Like, y'all just, okay. That's not why we're here. Kind of why we're here. Aaliyah legacy is probably the most disrespected legacy out of all of the artists that have passed away. When I'm thinking about Michael Jackson and Whitney Houston and Prince and Bob Marley and Luther Vandross, just all the artists, Tupac, Biggie, like Aaliyah's legacy is probably the most mishandled, just disrespected, and I don't get it. And I don't understand it because out of all of those people, she was probably the nicest, the friendliest. Like nobody can say anything negative about her. Nobody, like every time you meet somebody that's met Aaliyah, even for a second, you're like, oh my gosh, she was so sweet. She was so kind. She was so dope. Da, da, da. Like nobody has said anything negative about her. But a lot of those other people, there has been negative things said about them, even in the media about them, not situations they've been in, but just literally about them. And it's like, why does the nicest person get the shortest end of the stick? I don't understand it. Eugene Smilez, like, share, subscribe. I just started ranting. Hope I don't have food in my teeth. But I just wanted to talk about this new album. Aaliyah has a new album, Blackground Records 2.0. Her uncle, the devil himself, Barry Hankerson, is releasing a new Aaliyah project called Unstoppable. Horrible title. That doesn't even sound like an Aaliyah title. That doesn't even sound like something she would name her album. Unstoppable. Fuck is that? And of course, it's a bunch of unreleased songs, unfinished songs. There's a difference between unreleased and unfinished. We're going to talk about that. And, you know, this happens all the time. Tupac had lots of music that he finished and lots of music that was a lot of it was done where they were able to make a whole bunch of albums. Biggie, he died right before his second album came out. Like, there's other artists that have music that was done, right? So this happens all the time. So we kind of expected it, especially with her music coming out on streaming. And there has been talks of it. There was talks about Drake and 40 doing an album, and people were like, why is Drake doing an album? Why is Timbaland not doing it? And then it never came out. Now we're kind of like, where is the Drake album? Because the way this is looking, I think we would prefer the Drake album. But there's a huge problem with the set list. If you haven't heard, and this is I'm filming this in January, like still less than a week from her birthday, like past her birthday. And the album's supposed to come out in January. Rushed. One thing Aaliyah never did was rush a project. There was a huge gap from 94 to 96 with the 2-year gap between Aging Number to Number and 1 in a Million. There was an even huger gap between 1 in a Million and Aaliyah. She did throw us classic soundtrack songs, legendary soundtrack song. Give me a bad Aaliyah song. Give me a bad Aaliyah song. Right. Give me a bad. Yeah. Right. You know, she did give us those classic songs in between, but she never rushed her project. She took her time. She lived her life. You know, which is a gift and a curse, because we never got a bad album or any bad music. But it was like, damn, I wish she would have had more music out. And yeah, I keep forgetting to do this. I'm still giving away Aaliyah Funko Pops. I have 5 Aaliyah Funko Pops. I'm definitely going to give away 3 of them once I reach 2,500 subscribers, I think I said. Yeah, 2,500, 3,000, 3,500. So if you're an Aaliyah fan, subscribe, comment. I'm going to go through all of my Aaliyah videos and pick somebody that has commented, and I'm going to send you the Funko Pop. I've been running this since last year, so, and I'm not budging. 2,500, and I'm going to give it away. I have a lot of them to give away. And it's rushed. Let's talk about the Aaliyah and Weeknd song. When it comes to the Weeknd, he has sampled Aaliyah Rock the Boat on What You Need off of his mixtape. It wasn't House of Balloons. Anyway, it was on the Trilogy when he released it, like officially through streaming and stuff. It was on Trilogy, and that's one of my favorite Weeknd songs. And I can see the Weeknd and Aaliyah working together, minus the drug references, but I get it. And the song came out, people were just dragging it. I was dragging it because one, I was like, what is the quality? Is she saying, you remember those toy mics that sound like you're echoing? It sounded like that's what it sounded like Aaliyah was singing through. It sounded like they had a song and Barry played the song through maybe speakerphone, and I can't remember the producer's name. He heard it and he recorded it, and then they put it. It sounded horrible. So after everybody was dragging Blackground and Barry and the producer, they went through and they fixed it, and it sounds a lot better. Aaliyah never really sings a whole song in like falsetto, so that sounded weird. And though it's a nice song and I do listen to it, it doesn't sound complete, especially with her not being on the chorus. And Static is on the song. Rest in peace, Static. He is like singing background, which I feel like there was probably more of him on the song that they took out. Which, why? I guess you didn't want to pay Static's estate, but it's Barry. It's Barry. And it's cute. It's a cute song. I like it. It kind of fits in what Aaliyah might have gone with, a sound she would have gone with, but it was thrown out in the middle of Christmas freaking season when everybody's listening to Mariah Carey and every other Christmas song. It was just thrown out there, and I feel like he's an idiot. I don't want to wish the D word on anybody, but Barry, your old ass can go. You can like literally exit stage left. I'm not sure who's gonna take over Blackground. In a perfect world, I would hope that it would go to Diane. You know, I doubt that's going to happen. But Barry, you can get out of here. It was just thrown out. It was just thrown out of nowhere. And it has not debuted on the Hot 100 yet. It's doing okay in R&B radio. But the another issue with that, it kind of came out in the middle of a bunch of weekend features. Like he's had 3 or 4 features come out, and then his album came out. So it was kind of like it's being just floating through all this shit. Like nobody's giving it that much attention, and I'm not sure if it has a radio deal or not. So he did announce that the Aaliyah Unstoppable album is coming out in January. It's gonna have, let's go through this list. Let's go through this list. Woo, Chile. Chris Brown, Future, Drake, Snoop Dogg, Neo, and of course The Weeknd. So let's start off with Chris Brown. First of all, why is it all male features? Why is it all male features? Yes, when you listen through Aaliyah's album, she didn't have any female features besides Missy rapping, which Missy produced and did background. And she had a female rapper on her first album, with, I don't know who that lady is. I had to look and see who that lady is that was working with R. Kelly. But she didn't have any female features. But this would have been a prime opportunity to get some. We're gonna talk about who I think should have been on the album. Let's talk about why some of these people should not be on the album. So Chris Brown, I mean, he's a woman abuser, and this isn't just one situation. This is multiple situations. He's on that powder. I don't know if he's still on the powder, but he was on that powder. He didn't have a great reputation. I'm about to say representation. Reputation. Very problematic. And though I think Aaliyah would have been, you know, a fan maybe of his music, I don't think she would have been associated with him, being that she's dealt with what she's dealt with in her life. And I was still, even when they did Thank You No, and they took some of those Aaliyah vocals, took Static off, put Chris Brown on, I thought the song was okay. It still seemed a little out of place for me. And I just was like, why did y'all do that? It got her a platinum plaque, thanks. But I think we would have been all right without it. Future. Problematic, womanizing, disrespectful Future. Future is an amazing rap artist that makes turn up music. He makes one of like some of my favorite turn up music. Titanic on my wrist, Batch on a, yeah, like Future does that. A Future on an Aaliyah album though, no. Like, let's get some men that respect women on Aaliyah's album. Drake. Only reason I will really let Drake slide, because Drake is low-key kind of trash too, is because Drake is such a super fan, and I feel like me and him are maybe on the same level. He's a little bit more crazier. I mean, he has her face tattooed on his back. I don't even have any tattoos, and I don't see myself getting an Aaliyah tattoo. I'm gonna get some shirts and some hats and some other merch and stuff, and I got my vinyls coming. But Drake, I will let him slide, because I do see Aaliyah possibly, you know, working with Drake. She'd probably be like, oh, Drake's cute, I know he did it, but I think she probably stayed away from him. But I can let Drake slide a little bit, just a little bit, and I think he would make some really good music with her vocals. The ones that kind of make sense, Snoop Dogg. I mean, Snoop, I'm pretty sure he knew Aaliyah. They, you know, kind of were up. They were in the industry alongside each other a lot, probably. Snoop Dogg is from that era. He's from the 90s. I can understand that, and I think he would do something well with her music. I don't know what song. Now, there is a song that came out. I believe it's this song, Ain't Enough Hours in a Day to do it all. And it's a song that leaked that had Snoop Dogg, and I want to say Future was on that song too. That leaked. It might still be on YouTube. I was like, I hope that's not the song, but you know, it might be, because it seems like Barry is just picking up scraps. Neo, I do think Aaliyah and Neo would have definitely worked together when he was relevant as a songwriter in the industry, like doing the hits for Beyonce and Rihanna. I do believe that he would have worked with Aaliyah. Aaliyah's legend. Aaliyah would have been a super legend by that time. So I could let Neo slide. And there is a song that leaked last year with Neo and Aaliyah that I actually really, really like. It sounded really good. I just wish, part of me be like, I want somebody a little bit more relevant and popular, but I understand Neo being on it. And I talked about The Weeknd. I just don't understand why there's a bunch of men on her album. Let me tell you what I wanted. First of all, I believe he should have definitely called Missy. Timbaland is going to be on the album. Timbaland is producing a song. I want to say I heard it might have been the song with Chris Brown. Apparently the song with Chris Brown is going to be this amazing kind of old school R&B song. We'll see. But Timbaland is producing a song on the album, which is great. But I find it quite strange that Missy is not on the album. Now, Missy is low-key, like high-key a stand-up bitch. I believe Missy probably was offered to be on the album and she probably declined because if y'all don't know, Barry ain't giving any of the funds to Aaliyah's mom or brother, like to Aaliyah's immediate family. Why not? That's your niece. That's your sister. Your mom, her mom is your sister. Like the trash. It's just tomato, 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 tomato. It's just, but it's quite foolish. It's quite foolish. I would have definitely called Brandy and Monica. Aaliyah was kind of the spearhead for that teen R&B pop girl sensation in the 90s, and Brandy and Monica followed, and all of them had their fan base. Like growing up, you had a favorite out of Aaliyah, Brandy, and Monica. Like you liked one of them. You had a favorite. Mine was always Aaliyah, then it was Monica, then it was Brandy. And I think it would have been dope to like, I've always said, you know what, they should do a remix. Like they could have remixed some old songs also. And I just kept thinking, I Care For You remix with Brandy and Monica on there. Oh, the slayage that would have brought Missy in to kind of remix the beat a little bit. That would have been amazing. Fucking amazing. Number 2, Solange. Solange has cited Aaliyah many of times as a inspiration. She's even sampled More Than a Woman. She sings More Than a Woman. I want to say it was either on A Seat at the Table or the last album, but she sampled More Than a Woman when she was singing it. And I think Solange would have been amazing on an Aaliyah album. She would have did something amazing because Solange is a big fan of hers, and it would have been dope. Why wasn't Solange called? Solange is very relevant right now. She's very relevant. Normani. Of course, Normani could definitely use it. Unfortunately, Normani's career trajectory is in the flop situation right now. Not all her fault, mainly her team. Normani's team really sucks. And I have videos talking about Normani and her flop career. But this would have been a good look for her because Normani's definitely inspired by her. Wild Side, which is doing pretty well right now, samples 1 in a million. They want to say it doesn't sample because they don't want to pay that money. They don't want to cut that check. But you listen to the beat, it samples 1 in a million all day. Normani would have been amazing on the freaking album. I could even possibly see Sierra. The vocal styles aren't the same, but I think a right song could have been a good Sierra Aaliyah track. Janet and Aaliyah were supposed to work together. They were planning it. They were trying to get their schedules together. We almost got Janet and Aaliyah. Could you imagine that video? The 2 different styles? I'll make myself upset thinking about it. D'Angelo. If you want to get a man on the album, Aaliyah and D'Angelo were going to work together. D'Angelo. Y'all could have made that happen. His vocals, Aaliyah's vocals intertwining. That would have been crazy. Why didn't you get D'Angelo? You could have skipped Christopher Brown. Kind of could have skipped Neo. And you could have got D'Angelo in there. It would have been legend. It would have been dope. It would have been fire. Like, you missed out. I mean, even just getting some of the other girls, Maya, Kim. We never got an Aaliyah and Little Kim record. Like, that would have been dope. Aaliyah did sing background on a version of Queen Bitch, Aaliyah and Kim would have been fire. Barry, it's still time to make it right. Push it back. Because with you rushing this album out, it's not going to do well. It's not going to look good in the overall things of things when you're looking at like Aaliyah's records. But I think people have enough sense to know Aaliyah did these 3 albums. She ain't do this. And another issue I have is that a lot of times artists don't put out songs because they don't like them. They might not like how it sounds. They might not be feeling the song because the song isn't done. Now, sometimes you complete songs and you just try to figure out which one to put on the album. The songs aren't done. So how about we start respecting Black women? Especially ones that are past, that can't stick up for themselves. Like, I just don't understand why Aaliyah's legacy is so disrespected. And Barry, do right by Aaliyah's mother and brother. Like, come on, do right by her. I don't know, y'all. Who do y'all think should be on the album? Who else did I not name that you think would have been a great fit on the album? Do you think the album should come out? I'm actually fine with the album not ever coming out, not seeing the light of day. Poison is okay, but I'm okay with just the 3 albums and the soundtrack songs, and I'm okay. I'm absolutely okay with that. Y'all comment below. Remember, I am still giving away the Funko Pops when I reach my 2,500 and 3,000, 3,500. Like, share, subscribe. Listen to some Aaliyah, and I'll see you next time.